fuck are these shenanigans occurring in front of my house?
Get out of here, young man.
Children! Don't, what is that? What are you doing? Was that a dance thing? Why are you like this?
You better not be flossing out there.
Get off my lawn!
Flossing on my lawn. Hey, it's Megan
and Sue,
the Spine Breakers. And today we are bringing you a December wrap-up.
Yep, we sure are.
And Sue has had the plague, so we are not going to be consuming alcohol in this video.
Because I'm on antibiotics.
But we are going to be drinking some tea from my cute little tea set.
And this is what tea? Should we get it?
There's nothing special about the package because it's just a little sampley package. But this is maple.
I'm scared because this table is...
It's suddenly tippy. I moved it out into the kitchen for New Year's and now it's all tippy. Thank you.
Oh geez.
I'm very scared. Okay.
Oh, we have hot tea, bud.
Be very careful, buddy.
We have hot tea.
Keep your tootsies off the table.
The literal kind.
The literal hot tea, not like gossipy drama.
Oh,
noodle boy.
Oh. Let's stay down with the hot tea, okay? Should we try to sip it?
Let's try.
We're like basic booktube bitches right now.
Basic
hot tea.
Booktube bitches. That's
I like
pleasant.
That. Nice mapley flavor.
It's like I'm back home. Great White North.
In Canada.
In Canada 2.0, aka
In December, I finished 4 books and I DNF'd 1 audiobook.
I finished 1 book and I almost finished a 2nd book. I'm still kind of slumping it up.
Yeah, I think that I'm like kind of coming out of my slump. I'm doing a little better this month, but I also have been sick. So I've mostly been watching Netflix, honestly. I caught up on a lot of Netflix, but here lately that I've been feeling a little better, I've been reading more.
Yeah, I've been like having a hard time getting into stuff. So, yeah. Plus, like, the holidays are busy time.
Yeah.
Socially, because make people time.
Right.
You know?
I missed most of the holidays.
I know, I was super bummed.
I missed Christmas with my family because I was too sick. And I missed New Year's because I was too sick. So,
it's a bummer.
But anyway, the first book that I finished was Parable of the Sower by Queen Octavia E. Butler. And I buddy read this with Amber from Amber Unabridged. This takes place during a sort of like environmental and political
upturn?
Apocalypse of sorts.
Yeah, it's a shitpocalypse.
Right, and it follows a young girl, I think she's like 15 at the beginning, 15 or 16, who's kind of living in this gated community, but at some point she kind of has to break free and go out on her own, and it's very dangerous and stuff. I'm not describing this well at all. I'm sorry. But all you need to know is that it's fantastic.
And Octavia Butler wrote it, so...
Yeah. Look how many places I tabbed. I usually don't tab my books, but I felt compelled while I was reading this to tab many places because I was like, damn Octavia.
Damn Octavia Butler.
Spitting truth.
Shit, girl.
Yeah, and this is kind of like eerily plausible also, so that's great. And it takes place in the pretty near future.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could see that.
I'm pretty convinced that Queen Octavia is a prophet.
Yeah.
Because there's some shit in there that's like straight up like things that are similar to things that are occurring now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really, really good. I expected no less. I think I gave it 4.5 stars instead of a full 5. I don't really know why. I thought the like conversation, the dialogue was like not always realistic.
Yeah, that's
was kind of an issue I had with it, but it wasn't that big of an issue, so 4.5 stars. Loved it.
Loved it. Why don't you go ahead and go again?
All right. The second book I finished was The Day of the Triffids by, oh my god, my brain's not working, by John Wyndham. And this is also like apocalypse kind of book, because why not?
Why not?
Guess who wants outside?
This is my life. It's just letting dogs in and out, in and out, in and out for eternity.
So this follows this man who, at the beginning, he's waking up in the hospital and he's just had some sort of like eye surgery or procedure done. So he hasn't been able to see for a while. This happened because of a Triffid, which are these plants that just kind of appeared on Earth, and they can like lash out and blind you or kill you, and then they will like eat you, I guess.
Rude.
But they also have a lot of like great resources, so humans learned how to like control them and harvest them and stuff and use them. He wakes up in the hospital. He's been blind, so he hadn't been able to see for several days. And when he wakes up, he discovers that now everyone else has gone blind because of this weird cosmic phenomena that happened that everyone looked at. Anyone who saw it went blind. Now he's like one of the few seeing people around. So it's kind of about how everything goes to shit. Because people, I mean, obviously you can survive in the world being blind. People do it every day. But it's like when everyone suddenly goes blind at once, then it's fucking chaos. And I had a hard time getting into this for some reason. I think I was just kind of in a slump. So I started it in November, I think. And I read half of it and then I put it down for a while because I was just like not feeling it. And then I picked it back up in December and finished it. And it actually was really good. I think I gave it 4 stars. But it is something that I feel like if I reread it at a time when I was like more into it, maybe I might have given it like 4.5 or 5 because it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I like John Wyndham a lot, and I definitely want to read more of his stuff because I will have to say, most people told me that, because I've read The Chrysalids by him. It was the only other book I've read, and I loved it. I loved The Chrysalids. And most people told me that they liked this better than the Chrysalids, but I kind of think I liked the Chrysalids better. Yeah. Although the ending of The Chrysalids is weird. But overall, I think I actually liked it more. You want to go?
I will go. So I finished All the Birds in the Sky, which I can't find to show you, which is kind of okay because I also spilled water on it. So I might have thrown it away. It is about these 2 people, and one of them is a scientist and one of them is a witch, and there's this kind of like war going on between magic and science, but these 2 people are kind of key players in that whole business, and they are in love with each other. So it is weird, but I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars, 3 or 4 stars. I liked it a lot.
So the next book that I finished was Sourdough by Sloan. And this is about a woman who, she works for a robotics company. And she's kind of like not enjoying life, you know? Like she's kind of like just going through the motions and getting by. Then she discovers this it's not a bakery, it's like a restaurant, but it's just like these brothers that run it out of their apartment, I think.
Okay.
But she finds this restaurant, she orders a sandwich from them, and it's like the best thing she's ever put in her mouth, and she starts ordering it like every day. And then the brothers, who are like, they're from Europe or something, they're kind of mysterious, have to go back to Europe, and they leave her their sourdough starter for this like special sourdough bread. And it turns out the sourdough bread is like kind of magical. Unfortunately, I found this like kind of mediocre. I think I gave it 3 stars. I think my main issue was that I just really didn't give a shit about the main character.
Okay.
So I just was like, I don't care about the story because I don't really care what happens to you. Yeah. So I wasn't that into it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly good.
And you may as well go again.
Alright, the last book I finished was The Mist in the Mirror by Susan Hill. And this is a horror novel about this man. It's set sort of in maybe the 1800s or something. I'm not really sure. It's set in olden times.
Olden days.
For sure.
A minute ago.
But it's about this man who has His parents died when he was very young, and he was sent to live with this, his caretaker, who raised him in Kenya. He was from England, but he was raised in Kenya, and then when he grew up, he became kind of obsessed with this man who's an explorer, whose name I can't remember now, but he's very important to the story. But he became kind of obsessed with this man's life, and so he kind of went exploring, following this man's path. And then he comes back to London to research more about this man who was from London, and discovers some very, like, sinister things.
Shit.
And this one also kind of mediocre.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I also gave it 3 stars. It was just kind of, I mean, it was fairly compelling. I found it, like, interesting, but then I felt like the conclusion was just like, eh.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was like kind of stupid. Not stupid, but just, it almost felt like she didn't know how to end it, so she was just like, let's just do this. You know?
Yeah.
So the ending was pretty lame, and it was okay.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, so unfortunately ended my year with 2 only okay books.
Mediocre books.
Yeah. I did DNF a book, too. An audiobook.
What did you DNF?
It was The Proposal by... I gotta get my phone because I don't remember. Okay, so I DNF'd the audiobook of The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory.
Yeah. Guillory?
I don't know. It's a romance novel. It's actually the sequel to The Wedding Date, which I heard like a lot of buzz about on BookTube. I didn't realize it was a sequel, but I don't think it really matters because it follows different characters and it's like a whole different storyline. Maybe I would have cared about the characters more if I'd read the first one. I don't know. But I didn't care about them at all, which was part of the problem. Was not invested in their relationship at all.
No fun.
But one of the main problems I had with the audiobook was that the audiobook narrator was fucking awful.
Oh.
Like, she was so bad. And I thought, like, is this some sort of knockoff? Because I got it from Scribd, which I don't know how, like, legit all of the audiobooks on Scribd are. I don't know. So I was like, is this like a knockoff version of the audiobook? But no, it's like the official Penguin whatever audiobook. I'm like, how did this woman get a job narrating audiobooks? Like, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So that was the main problem I had with the audiobook. But even if I'd been reading the book, I don't think I really would have been that into it. It's just, the only good thing about it was that it's like representation, because it had, I don't know if there was even a white character in the book.
Really?
Maybe one of her friends. I don't remember. But yeah, pretty much most of the characters were people of color, which I think is great, but
yeah,
unfortunately it wasn't.
The narrator was not fantastic.
Yeah, and I picked it because I wanted something light and fluffy, but also it featured something that is like something I'm passionate about. Because at the beginning of this story, the main character, Nikki, I think is her name, gets publicly proposed to by her boyfriend, who she's only been seeing casually for like 5 months.
Oh.
And so she obviously says no, but then she looks like the bad guy because she turned down his proposal in public. And that's like something that really pisses me off. Because, like, anytime I see those, like, failed public proposals, I feel bad for the woman.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for the dude. I feel bad for the woman because most of the time you can tell that she's, like, terrified. And then usually they just run away. They don't even say yes or no. They just run.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you don't know for sure that your significant other is going to say yes if you ask them to marry them, and wants a public proposal.
Right, then don't do it.
Then don't do a public proposal.
No.
Yeah. So I was hoping that would be like more of a thing in the book, and it's not really. Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer. Because I kind of feel the same way about those. Because like, that puts a lot of pressure on
the
unsuspecting.
And then if she said, or he or she, I don't think you should do it to anyone.
Yeah.
But if they say no, then they look like the bad guy.
Right, because everyone was like, wow, what an asshole.
Like, what a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know anything about their relationship, so... But anyway, that was my December reading.
I nearly finished Possessing the Secret of Joy by Alice Walker. I don't have much left to go in here. I don't know why I didn't finish it, but I did.
You still have it?
No, I still haven't, because I started Till Infinity and Beyond, and so I put this aside, and I should have just finished it before I started, but I didn't. But this is not a sequel to The Color Purple, but it follows one of the like lesser known characters, or like more minor characters in The Color Purple, Tashi, and it talks about like her life and like after she becomes an adult and comes to the United States, and she's dealing with some trauma based on some things that she went through in Africa, and so she actually sees, I think she sees Carl Jung. Yeah, she does.
Interesting.
As a therapist. It's a really good book, and it talks about, I can say this because it's in the dust jacket, but she gets circumcised, like it's a cultural tradition in her tribe for the women to be, experiences genital mutilation or whatever. It's, so she actually like voluntarily undergoes it when she becomes like, she misses it when she's a kid, like at the age that she's supposed to have it done, she doesn't, because whoever was like looking after her at that time didn't have her get it done or whatever. But then like as an older, you know, girl, like teenage girl maybe, she decides that she does want it done because she feels like her culture is like losing their identity because they're being taken over by white people. And so she submits to it and does it. And so it's kind of about her overcoming that trauma. I didn't know much about that like ritual, so it's interesting to read about it in this novel. But yeah, so it's really good. I just haven't finished it.
If you guys have read any of these books, let us know what you thought of them.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know how you did in December, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Yep.